Welcome to the Governor's Crime Commission Pre-Awards Requirements Training. Module 1. Pre-Award Requirements. At the completion of this module, you'll have the knowledge of how to use the Grant Enterprise Management System to submit a GCC application. You'll learn how to set up the credentials that are needed to gain access to and manage your application. There are 2 lessons included in this module. Lesson 1 will explain all the required credentials and show you how to obtain them. Lesson 2 will explain how to gain access to GEMS for efficient application entry and monitoring of grant performance. Additionally, you'll be able to create a profile for your organization and add roles for each user in the system. Lesson 1. Obtaining required credentials. In Lesson 1, you'll receive instructions on how to register for the North Carolina ID account or NCID, obtain a Dun & Bradstreet number, also known as a DUNS number, and register with the System for Award Management, also known as SAM registration. Let's begin with an overview of NCID. The NCID service is a standard identity management and access service provided to state, local business, and citizen users by the North Carolina Department of Information Technology. NCID enables its customers to achieve an elevated degree of security and access control to real-time resources such as customer-based applications and information retrieval. All applicant agencies, authorizing official, and financial officer will be required to approve applications for submission through GEMS. They must have an active NCID to log into GEMS. NCID accounts may be obtained via the web address. Please write down the NCID website and FAQ's address for future use. Registering for an NCID account. Enter the NCID web address. Select NCID Login. Once you are on the NCID login page, select Register in the bottom right corner. Next, make the appropriate selection to indicate your user type. If you are a nonprofit agency, click on Individual. If you are unsure of your agency type, select Contact Us at the bottom right of the screen. Once you select the user type, the new user registration screen will appear. At a minimum, complete the required fields indicated by an asterisk, such as desired username, first name, last name, and email address. Enter in a password and confirm. Once you select Continue, you will be prompted to complete the registration. Note: do not share your NCID user IDs and passwords. Each person working in GEMS system should have their own individual user ID and password. Now let's look at an overview of the DUNS number. For government contracts and credit, the DUNS number was adopted as a standard business identifier for U.S. federal electronic commerce and is widely used by the United Nations and European Commission too. The data is used to track how federal money is distributed and since 1998 has been the official government contract identification code for all suppliers and activities. Applicants must have a DUNS number which may be attained at the following website. Please write down the DUNS website address for future use. Now that you've registered for an NCID and created a username, you'll need to register for a DUNS number. The DUNS number is a unique 9-digit identification number for each physical location of your business. Before registering, check to make sure that your organization does not already have a DUNS number. If not, the DUNS number assignment is free for all businesses required to register with the U.S. federal government for contracts and grants. If your organization does not yet have a DUNS number or no one knows it, visit the provided website or call 866-705-5711 to register or search for a DUNS number. Again, registering for a DUNS number is free of charge, so if you encounter any organizations or websites soliciting a fee or charge to acquire a DUNS number, it is likely a scam or fraudulent. It may take up to 48 hours to receive your DUNS number. The web address is the same as the previous slide. Please write down the phone number for future use. The last required credential in Lesson 1 is SAM registration. SAM, System for Award Management Registration, is required for all applicants and has taken the place of registration in CCR, Central Contract Registration. If the applicant has an active record in CCR, that applicant has an active record in SAM. Applicants not previously registered in CCR should register in SAM prior to applying for a grant through the Governor's Crime Commission. Let's look at the registration criteria. Getting started. You must have an active registration in SAM to do business with the federal government. You'll need to have the following information ready to begin your registration: organization information, DUNS number, tax identification information, and banking information. Please write down the following link to register with SAM. Be sure that your SAM registration remains current. For a more detailed training in SAM registration, please refer to the GCC SAM registration module on YouTube or in the LMS system. Final note for Lesson 1. Before beginning the actual application process, you should visit the Governor's Crime Commission website to explore information that will help you get started. You will find various links available that provide helpful tools to increase your understanding of eligibility and requirements. It is recommended to begin with the Grant Process link located at the lower left side of your screen. Let's take a look at Lesson 2. Lesson 2. Accessing the GCC Grant Enterprise Management System, also known as GEMS. GEMS is GCC's online grant application submission and grant project management system for all GCC grants. In this lesson, you will receive instructions on how to log into GEMS, set up user and organization profiles, and lastly, manage the roles of the users attached to your organization. Let's begin with GEMS Access. The Grant Enterprise Management System can be accessed directly from the GCC website. In the GEMS system, applicants can complete and submit applications and monitor their grant performance. The GEMS link will take you to the GEMS homepage, where you will use the NCID and password you created in Lesson 1. If you have not registered for an NCID at this point, you will need to click Need an NCID or return to Lesson 1 for instructions. If you have an NCID and you're unable to log in, please contact ITS Service Desk for assistance. Now that we've accessed GEMS, let's look at how to set up profiles. Once you've logged into GEMS, you may begin creating your user profile. Select the My Profile tab at the upper left corner of the screen. Next, select the organization from the drop-down menu. Please note that the organization is the legal organization, not a subunit of the organization, and GCC must approve all new organizations and organization administrators. Complete the remainder of the fields and select Save My Profile. If your organization has never been added, select the green Add Organization button to add a new organization. To add your organization, you will need to complete all fields with an asterisk. Reminder, enter the legal organization, not a subunit of the organization. You must have a DUNS number to complete an organization profile. Also, you must attach proof of the SAM expiration date. Remember to click Save Organization. You will not be able to save your organization if any of the required fields are left blank. Once your organization has been saved and approved, you may go back to My Profile and save My Profile as previously shown. Now that we have set up our profiles, let's look at managing organizational roles. Assigning organization roles is another important part of the process. Once you've updated your profile and your organization's profile, you're ready to request roles for your organization. Let's take a look at each of these roles. The authorizing official is the signatory to grant awards. It's the person with the highest level of fiduciary responsibility in the organization. The required agency contacts include, for nonprofits, the board chair, which must not be an employee of the agency. State government would be the division secretary, local government, county manager, and law enforcement agents is the county or city manager. The financial officer provides financial oversight to the project. They're a agency financial policies and procedures expert as well as a federal financial policies and procedures expert. The required agency contacts for nonprofits is a board treasurer. State government would be a CFO or division finance officer. Local government could be a finance director, and law enforcement agencies would be an agency finance director. The project director is the signatory to grant award and is responsible for the execution of the project. They are the primary point of contact with GCC. Required agency contacts for nonprofits is the executive director or appointed project staff responsible for overseeing the work of the project. And state government, local government, and law enforcement agencies would be a designee responsible for overseeing the work of the project. The organization administrator submits all SAM updates to GEMS, approves all requests for organization roles, approves and denies requests for project access and roles, and deactivates access and roles if needed. The required agency contact would be other agency personnel, such as an internal grant manager or supervisor of project activities. The project editor is an optional role. They have access to project details and can create and submit reimbursements. The required agency contact is the organization administrator or admin. Note on a project editor role. Editors have limited roles. They can enter information such as applications, reports, upload documents, but often are unable to submit items to GCC. The submit function is reserved for the project director. Select Request Project Access tab to be approved as a project editor. Once you've updated your profile and your organization's profile, you are ready to request roles for your organization. On the upper left side of the screen, select Request Organization Roles. Next, select the role that you are requesting. Provide a brief justification for your request in the text box provided. Once all information has been entered, select Submit Request. Approval and updating information. GCC administrator approval is needed for the following. For a new organization, once approved, you'll be able to select that organization from the drop-down list. Organization administrator. Once approved, the organization administrator must approve all requested roles. The GEM system will alert them of your request. Once approved, the organization administrator is responsible for approving all other user roles. Updating user and organizational information. Updates or changes to authorizing official or financial officer, the information should be made in the system by your organization prior to submitting your application. If information changes after your application has been submitted and approved, you'll need to contact your GCC planner or grants manager for assisting using the Contact Us link provided on the GCC website. In Lesson 1, you learned to use the GCC website to access important information about the grant process and the credentials required for all applicants interested in applying for a state and federal grant. Applicants without these credentials will be unable to apply. In Lesson 2, you learned to access the Grant Enterprise Management System where applications are completed and submitted, to set up your username and organizational profile, and lastly, how to manage roles for your organization. If you need assistance, contact information is available on the GCC website, as shown in the previous slide. Congratulations! You may proceed to the next module.